Welcome to the Fantasy Golf Bag Podcast, presented by FantasyGolfBag.com, your number one source for the most in-depth PGA Tour analysis in the daily fantasy and sports betting world. Each week, our experts will discuss everything you need to know, from the course preview and key stats to top plays, fades, and strategies. Whether golf betting, grinding out cash games, or playing for a big GPP win, our team has you covered. Let's get after it.
Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Fantasy Golf Bag Podcast. Here today to talk about the Dell Match Play WGC event. As you can tell, this is Axis hosting tonight, and I am joined by only Sky. And unfortunately, Drew couldn't make it tonight, so Sky and I will be your guides through this amazing event. And hopefully by the end of it, you have a more clear picture on how to build your lineups. So, Sky, how you doing?
Good, Axis. Welcome back to the dynamic duo here. Let's hit this.
Yeah, so for those of you who haven't been around in the premium Slack chat yet, this event is like Christmas to Sky and I, and many others too now that have realized that there is an edge, and as the years go on, that edge will dwindle. So now is prime time to strike, and we won't be talking too much on the exact build strategy. If you want to check out fantasygolfbag.com, there will be an article up for all premium subscribers, and if you're not signed up yet, you can still use Jesus20 or Gurus20 for 20% off. And you can have access to the premium Slack and the premium article on optimal build strategy. But tonight on the pod, we are mainly going to just run through each of the formats and regions, kind of telling you what we're thinking, what we're looking at, so on and so forth. So it could be a decently long pod. We're going to try to keep it to an hour like normal, but we're pretty excited to talk about this. So I'm just going to throw it over right to you, Sky, to talk about the course quickly.
Yeah, an hour. I mean, we could probably do 6 hours on this thing. This is the best event outside of the majors for me all year long. I absolutely love this thing. So we're going to be playing at Austin Country Club, Pete Dye design. So it's going to be one of those typical Dye designs when we're really looking at some of those undulations, a shot maker's course when he's putting thought process into it. Tons of the pop bunkers. We're going to see, I think likely last year was overseeded green, so the Bermuda overseeded with some of the POA in bent. And then it's always, you got to check that forecast. I mean, it gets real windy down there and can really factor in. And last year there was a ton of rollout off the tee. So you were seeing guys that are normally short hitters adding, 30 yards seriously to their drive. So another one of those second shot golf courses that really makes you think. Oh, I mean, there's the par fives are all going to be reachable by pretty much everybody. One of the par fours is drivable off the tee, so it's going to be a long weekend for some of those guys that are going to be playing into Sunday. So you can play up to, I believe it's 7 rounds if you make it all the way to the championship, that final 4 in 5 days. So, and don't forget Wednesday morning lock. So you're going to get this podcast Tuesday morning, and you're really going to have about 24 hours to dial in. So this is going to be an awesome event, and I really can't wait to break this down.
For sure. And also, just a quick note, the Draftkings scoring is different. If you didn't play this last year, you're not going to get points for birdies or bogeys or birdie streaks this week because it's match play. You get 3 points for a winning hole. You get 0.75 for a halve, negative 0.75 for a loss. If you win by 5 holes, you get 1.6 points for those 5 holes for every hole not played. You get 5 points for a win, 2 for a halve, and then there's a couple streak bonuses, which are pretty hard to cap. So if you get them, you get them. No holes lost is like 7.5, and I think you get a streak for 3 straight holes won, 5 points. But just keep that in mind. We're not going to be talking about birdie or better percentage as much this week or anything like that because match play is just a whole different ball game. Like it could be over with 4 holes left, and you're getting all those bonus points. So just keep that in mind when you are checking your scores on Wednesday and freaking out about whatever. So so without further ado, I say we just jump right into it since we have a lot to talk about, and we'll just start with Group 1 if you want to lead us off, Sky.
Yeah, so we have Group 1 with DJ, headed next by Decky, and then Grace and Ches. So if you look kind of the dispersity, DJ is a clear chalk favorite there. I mean, he's over $3,000 higher than anyone else in the group, coming off of the Valspar Sunday. That was pretty disappointing, having Paul Casey beat him in that final group. And last year, DJ did not make it out of group play after beating Rahm in 2017 at the course. So interested to see kind of how it falls, as his power off the tee probably won't bring him as much advantage as it does compared to other courses. But I mean, Decky has brought some pretty decent form into play here as well. I really don't have much interest in Grace and Ches at all. So if you're going to make a stance, it's probably going to come from Decky for me. How do you feel?
Yeah, and just really quick, I know you mentioned DJ didn't even make it out of group play last year, and I think only 5 top seeds won their group last year, and the year before it was only 5, and I want to say the year before it was only 7. So it's not a chalk fest as it would seem to be when you're looking through their group. Like, oh, that's an obvious winner, that's an obvious winner. Like, it's match play. If you lose one match, you really screw yourself, potentially. So, I mean, it's kind of out of your hands at that point if the other guy just beats the other two. Like, so just keep that in mind. Sometimes just looking at the seeding, you might just want to erase that when you're building lineups and just pick the golfers you really like. But as far as Group 1, yeah, it seems, speaking of just chalk though, it seems pretty obvious with DJ and maybe Decky. So I know, like you said, the wind could get up here. Maybe Grace can factor in that. It is a Pete Dye design. He's won at RBC if you're into that type of correlation. But DJ is just playing so much better than the rest of this group, and Hideki is also playing much better than Grace and Reeve. So, I mean, personally, I'm not gonna get cute out of this group, and it's gonna be DJ and Hideki for me. And if it's not one of them, well, so be it. And I probably won't be missing out too much because I can't imagine Grace and Reeve are going to have that much ownership anyway. So
the interesting thing is when we talk ownership, though, and it's tough, we're going to have 24 hours to realistically break this down and enter our lineups and not even understand really what the industry is going to be looking at when it comes to ownership. But this exact scenario happened last year. I mean, DJ was very highly owned coming in off of what he had 4 top 10s, including a win in his previous 5 events coming into last year, similar-esque form. And Kisner won that group and ended up in the finals at, extremely low ownership. Not to say that, Ches and Grace are really calling my name in the least bit, because Kisner's kind of a Pete Dye specialist in a sense. But yeah, I mean, people, if you're going to make stances when you're fading top guys, it's probably worth sprinkling, some of those minuscule ownerships in regards to, the bottom of those pools if you really aren't a fan of DJ this week. That's not me personally. I'm going to be playing DJ, and we're going to be talking about playing 150 lineups because this is our favorite week of the year. So I'm going to have a heavy portion of DJ and not really be on those bottom 2, but I will bring up some situations later on when I want to make stances like that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm going to play chalk guys this week just because I do think, it's kind of hard to get away from the best golfer in the group sometimes. But that doesn't mean I have to play like 60% DJ in my lineups. Like, this is one of the few where I don't necessarily mind if I'm at the field average with a guy like DJ because I can differentiate so much more. And it really just matters about getting 6 to the final 8 and 4 to the final 4. So if 2 of those guys have to be chalk, like, I'm not going to be that scared away from it. And Hideki and DJ are just so much better over the last 18 rounds ball striking than Grace and Reeve, so I'm not even going to waste any more time on Group 1.
Yep, nope, I agree. And I'm going to walk this through when we're going group by group. I'm going to go through what the bracket looks like and who they would match up in the second round, if that's cool with you.
Yeah, so you want to just go right down to Group 16 next, since the winner of Group 16 will play the winner of Group 1?
Yep, so Group 16, we have Patty Reed, Sergio, Lowry, and then Putnam. So this is an interesting one, as the highest priced golfer in this group is 8,600, which, taking a quick look across, that is the lowest of any of the 16 groups. So in the outright odds, I mean, 40-1 is the lowest, and I believe, if I double check there, that is also the lowest of, or the deepest odds of any of the groups with Patty Reed being that 16 seed. So this one's really up for grabs, man. I'd love to hear your take to start.
It seems like it's up for grabs, and then you look at the stats over the last 20-ish rounds, and I know Lowry only has 10 rounds and Putnam only has 10 rounds over the last 10 tournaments, but, I mean, Sergio is just head and shoulders. I mean, Reed's playing like absolute ass right now, so this one, it's scary because of how cut and dry it really seems, but I'd be shocked if Sergio doesn't come out of this group.
And that's the interesting thing, and we're focusing straight on DraftKings, and we haven't really placed any of our outrights yet, as everything's happened so fast this evening. But I mean, Sergio feels like a great bet, but man, it just feels like he's going to garner a lot of ownership. Just if I'm trying to guess what the field is going to be.
Oh, he is. It's that obvious. I mean, he's 90. He's 91st percentile in approach over the last 10 tournaments.
He's cheap.
Reed is 26th percentile. Putnam's 28, and Shane Lowry is 2.81 percentile. Like, I don't know. It seems way too obvious, so I'm probably going to have a fear, and because of how many lineups I'm building, I probably will use some Patrick Reed. I have zero interest in Putnam and Lowry. If they make it out of here, so be it. But
I mean,
they'll probably get
Reed?
shit kicked by DJ anyway. So
are we off Reed being, a match play specialist? I mean, technically his record's not even that good anymore. It's like 14-9-2 according to Adam Sarson.
The match play specialist thing was more of just like him and Spieth dominating as a team. Like, I never thought it was solely. Sure. I thought what did it was that one win against Rory and the way he did it, and everyone was like, "Oh my god!" And it was awesome. I mean, I remember screaming at my TV, but that being a match play specialist doesn't override the amount of awful golf he's been playing.
Man, and I would love, my infatuation with European golfers, and I would love, to be able to take a stance if we would have brought someone who's in way better form than Lowry. I mean, since Lowry won that event, 2 months ago, he's been garbage. So,
I mean, either way, I'd be a little scared anyway, because the winner of this group is going to have to face, most likely, DJ or Hideki. So it's not like they're going to have a cakewalk into the final 8 anyway. So, again, I'm sure I'll sprinkle Reed out of fear. If I was only building 20 lineups, say, though, I think I'd just completely ignore Reed.
Yeah, no, that's a fair stance.
If I'm going to eat chalk, I'm probably going to eat the Sergio chalk.
No, that's fair.
So,
yeah, no, I mean, I think that's kind of how we stand, and I think, I want to see if that 45-1's still there, but when we're looking at the bet, the biggest goal is to make sure you're getting out of your group play, and Sergio feels at those odds, someone with that deep in the field who has a great, if not, the favorite to get out of his group, that's a decent odds. So those odds of 45-1 might be gone by the time we even finish this, but I know people have already jumped on it, so I'll be interested to check it out.
For sure.
Moving down to group number 9. So we're going to go 9. It's led by Xander. 9,400 is price. We have Hatton, RCB, and Lee Westwood, surprisingly, in this field. This is interesting because I think if you're looking at the bottom 3 of that field, you have Hatton, RCB, and Westwood. None of them higher than or shorter than 66-1, and that is the lowest outside of day. Oh, I guess there's a couple of them that are pretty deep. So maybe I'm getting ahead of myself with saying how bad this group is. But Xander's head and shoulders, and he hasn't even been. He missed the cut at the Players, I believe, right?
I can't tell you off the top of my head, to be honest.
So if I look.
However, he is head and shoulders above this group in strokes gained differential. I mean, he's over his last 17 or 18 rounds, he's almost 1.5 strokes better than the field over those rounds, and Rafa is second in this group, and he's at 0.9. So Xander's been beating the field by half a stroke more than the second best guy over the same time frame. Like, I'm ignoring Lee Westwood because I have zero interest. I am a sucker for Ty Hatton, and I'm pretty sure he's done decent at the match plays, if I recall. I don't have the numbers in front of me.
His match play record is 8-5. So, 61% puts him 12th in the field.
But again, I tried to go through the groups, and Xander and Rafa easily stuck out from this one to me as well. Xander's 80th percentile in this field in approach over his last 17 rounds. The other guys are all below 40% or 40th percentile. Same with ball striking. Xander tops it easily. Like, this would be another one, honestly, where the only thing that would get me to Rafa is he's almost $2,000 cheaper than Xander.
And I'm just looking at some ball striking numbers from Xander, and I looked back at the players where he missed the cut, and it's honestly because he couldn't putt or couldn't really get around the greens. He almost lost 2 strokes per round at the greens, so around the green plus putting at the players. Still gained almost 3 strokes ball striking in his 2 rounds there after gaining 2.5 strokes per round in Mexico. So he kept that ball striking form up. So personally, I think I almost like him just as much as we look at Sergio there, but you're going to have to pay a little bit more of a premium. He's 900 more, and significantly, his odds are about half of Sergio's looking at it, but I don't think Xander garners as much ownership overall on a premise of what we're looking at there. Maybe I'm getting too deep into the weeds of trying to project ownership, but I like going heavy Xander.
I mean, you can project ownership again. I just, like you said, I think it's going to be tough. I mean, I would put a bet down that you can pick the top owned guy from each group. It's probably going to be the top ranked guy from each group for the most part. I would guess that. So if you want to be different, just don't pick the top guy. But yeah, again, this one seems more cut and dry than most with Xander. I know I'm going to sprinkle Rafa in, though. I think it was 2, maybe 3 years ago, he got 3rd place in this event, and I believe it was at this course as well. So I will sprinkle Rafa. I love playing Rafa. I'd love to play Hatton, but he's negative approach over his last 20 rounds or 18 rounds, which is insane. And on this type of course, I don't think that's great. Something's not right with him, and I know Drew said he mentioned in an interview after WGC wrist tendonitis or something. So clearly that seems to be affecting
Remember, it was
him.
like a late night in Europe we were watching, and Hatton said he was taking some time to recover back from that wrist injury. I don't know if he's been the same, honestly, since.
Oh no, he's been ass. I've been playing him, and I've been losing money because of it.
And you're right. I looked back up at Rafa's previous 3 years, and obviously shout out to Mike Miller for putting this together and having some of the course profile that we talked on earlier too. But 3 years ago, the first year at Austin Country Club, he did have a 3rd place.
Okay.
So that's a decent pull from that. But no, I'm good with that group if you are.
Yep.
All right, group number 8, so matching up with 9. The winners will match up in that first round of the bracket play. We have Rahm, Cooch, JB, and Si Woo. I don't have my Pat Mayo Si Woo in me right now, but maybe after this bracket comes out. Honestly, I like him, man. I mean, I'm not too scared overall at Rahm after that Sunday blow-up that he had. He was so bad at the Players when we were heavy on him. I mean, he came out and played decent last week at the Valspar. What he finished, if we look back, he finished 6th, sneaky, I guess. So he might have some, different Pete Dye track record than we kind of think, or that imagine with a Rahm type who always seems to be blowing up. But man, that Sunday puts me off him. And Si Woo came out of the group play last year. We know he loves Pete Dye tracks. He's cheap, very cheap. He's only 6,500. I mean, Cooch is also a Pete Dye specialist. You talked to me about JB kind of popping in some numbers. This is an interesting group.
Honestly, Rahm at the Players doesn't bother me at all. I don't care typically about single blow-up rounds, especially at that golf course, and we know the mental error he made during that, and if that was match play, that's only 1 hole, so I don't really care. He's been destroying the fields he's playing in. Strokes gained field differential is 1.8 over his last 28 rounds. Kuchar's is 1.2 for reference, and Siwoo's 0.9. So this group is one where I could definitely sprinkle 3 guys and not be too worried about it. And they're going to get the winner of the Xander Rafa group, correct? So
correct.
That's
that's
very
not a bad second round
matchup. That doesn't scare me too much either. So this is probably the first group where I will be mixing mainly between Rahm, Kuchar, and Siwoo, especially at 6,500. Like, if you're going to play DJ, I mean, Siwoo's a decent option because you're going to have to sacrifice 2 golfers out of your lineup anyway. So even if they met, it wouldn't be till the Elite Eight anyway, right? So
Yep.
at 6,500, Siwoo could get you the DJ into your lineup, or when we get to Group 4, Rory's 11.7K. Like, I think obviously you're going to need a few guys down here. So,
and if you remember, Rahm was in the championship 2 years ago, so 2017.
Correct.
With DJ missed getting advancing out of group play last year. And I know you hate when I get real deep into this grass type, but if we go back to what we talked about at the Players, this is what is said to be an overseeded green again. So he has putted much better on overseeded comparing to Bermuda. So it's
how many rounds?
We're looking at a small sample. We're looking at 34 rounds. So
yeah,
for sure, it's just
do with that what you will. I don't really care about it, but yeah.
I agree. I'm not fully into Rahm for this one. This is probably one where I'm going to take definitely stabs with Siwoo. And I wonder if Kuchar is going to get overlooked. I mean, he was great at the Players. No,
I won't have a lot of Rahm, that's for sure. Like, I'll probably have. I would guess I'll have more Kuchar. Kuchar's 88th percentile in ball striking compared to Rahm, or sorry, in approach compared to Rahm's 46th. Rahm does a lot of damage off the tee, which, if you look back, DJ does damage off the tee. Obviously, I just mentioned Rahm. Bubba won last year and does damage off the tee. I think, did Jason Day win? Jason Day won this the first year they played it here. Rory was 4th, does damage off the tee. Like, it may be a Pete Dye track, but guys off the tee have had decent success here. So I still prefer approach. Prefer approach. So
agree. And kind of looking at some of the quotes that Josh Culp pulled together. It talked about like Kisner getting 30 yards extra roll on his drive and stuff. So it does bring some of those. I understand if that's going to bring 30 more yards to a DJ drive, that's quite incredible. But when, these shorter guys are hitting it, 330 plus, it might negate that. Who was it? Was it Tanihara that made it to the Final Four?
Yeah.
Bill Haas was in the Final Four, I think, that year too.
Yeah, that hurt. I had a bet on Bill Haas.
Man, Tanihara, I haven't heard that name in forever. He's probably smoking some cigs right now.
Oh yeah,
but it's interesting. So this is actually one where I think now that we talk it through, knowing Kuchar's track record, Kuchar has won one of these past match play events when it was back in Arizona. So,
and JB is 63rd percentile in approach over his last 19 rounds. He's better than Siwoo has been with his irons. Like,
it's true.
His short game sucks ass, but.
I think I'm going to end up heavy Kuchar here now that we talk this through. I like his price too. 8,100 is nice.
I'll definitely have more Kuchar than Rahm. Kuchar will definitely be the guy I have the most of in this group. So
in that 26th, man, that he had the Players when he ball. He was gaining over 2.5 strokes ball striking per round. So
he's playing very well.
Absolutely. So I'm good with that. So that wraps up that region. So the region of DJ, that is wrapped up there. So we're going to move down to the bottom left. So if we're going to start with that, I'm going to start with the group number 12, which is Jason Day's group. So it's Day, Mickelson, Stenson, and Furyk. This is a weird one, but I'll let you lead this one.
This group might need golf carts for everybody. My God. But, on first glance, this is one of the few groups that everybody in it is positive strokes gain differential over the last 10 tournaments. With Henrik bringing up the rear, since I still don't know what's going on. He's been shit off the tee. His approach is just fine. He's 98th percentile in approach. He's 18th off the tee. So maybe, I don't know, we thought maybe it could turn around for him at the Players because of that, and it didn't. I don't know where he finished at the Players. I might be talking out of my rear end there, but
he missed the cut of the Players.
Yeah, okay. So I don't know. I can get rid of 7,600, but I'd rather play Furyk at 7,200, I think. I
love Furyk.
Like,
I love him.
He's playing so well. Like, I don't know what kind of renaissance has sparked him, but Jason Day at 9,800 will definitely find his way into my lineups, though, and he's won here before. He's played well on die tracks before. as long as the back is fine, I mean, I see no reason to not play Jason Day. Like, I'm not going to try to speculate how his back is.
I mean, no, I extremely like Furyk, and I guess I don't hate Stenson looking kind of at the ball striking over the last few weeks.
Phil, who's not playing awful either.
No, Phil isn't either. This is a weird group. I mean, where no one really jumps to you. I mean, I think Furyk's price. He's also another one that has had a lot of success when we talk about P-type tracks. You know, we look at the players. It just happened 2 weeks ago. You know, that performance was amazing, and he's been consistent. And, you know, he really came on strong again with another strong performance at the Valspar last week.
He's 93rd percentile in approach over the last 18 rounds. I mean, it's tough. I mean, so you said Stenson's also, what, 98 percentile? Yeah, 98. Too? Like, I mean, he's just been awful around the green. Stenson's 8th percentile. He's negative almost 0.4 strokes around, and he's negative 0.4 off the tee as well. So
it's interesting. Stenson's never played the match play here either. He played at the previous ones and only advanced out of match play 1 out of 6 times. So not a very good match play record at all.
I mean, he's talented enough where I think he could win. It wouldn't shock me, obviously. Like, this wouldn't be one of the ones where it's like, oh, wow, Stenson won that. But at the same time, you know, 150 lineups, sure. If you want to play some Stenson, I mean, you could realistically play any of them. But if I'm making 20 lineups, Stenson's a guy I just cross off.
And personally, I guess I don't have a strong feeling on Jason Day or Phil, so I could see myself splitting between Stenson and Furyk here. And I'm interested in Furyk's outright too. I think he was approaching 90 to 100 to 1. With his type of game fitting this course well, I'm definitely interested in that. But I see myself finding those bottom 2 in a decent portion when I'm looking at that region. But that's kind of where I stand overall on these 4.
Yeah, I mean, I like Day at 9,800. I still think that's a little cheap for his talent level, but I understand it.
All right, so let's roll into number 5 here. So we're getting into JT's region. So JT,
we're getting into Man Rockets region.
That's my guy right there. So we got JT, Keegan, Wallace, and Bjerregaard, Man Rocket. So, I mean, we already know we can lock and load Bjerregaard, all 150 lineups, right, and just move on in advance.
Yeah, no problem.
I mean, I cannot wait for him to play JT. So it's tough because personally, I mean, I think JT's still a little bit iffy after that injury that happened. What was that at the Honda?
Yep.
Right? He came out and went 35th at the Players. I don't like JT. I will not be playing JT at all. It's going to be one that I am going to make a stance on personally. I mean, he did finish Final Four last year, and you guessed it, I faded him last year here too. But, man, I have an infatuation with both Wallace and Bjerregaard down there just from, you know, their style of plays, playing well, both of them flashing at 2, you know, Florida lesson driver courses. I know we're walking into, you know, overseeded Texas course here, but in a sense, you know, Bjerregaard played well at the Players. Wallace was really good at Honda. I think those games can translate over here to Austin Country Club, and I like those 2. And I mean, Keegan's sitting there at 7,200. What do you think?
JT's tough because, like you said, maybe it is still that risk from hitting that tree because he lost almost 0.8 strokes at Honda on approach per round, and then he went to the Players and he lost 0.1 strokes, and his irons are like what his game, like he had been dominating with the irons. So to get me to pay $11K, like,
that's the thing. $11K is hard for
yikes. That. I personally can't say I'm gonna fully fade him yet. I'm a big JT fan and I love his game, and obviously one of the best players in the world when it's dialed in. And again, I'm not gonna try to guess Jason Day's back. I don't know if I'm gonna guess what Justin Thomas's wrist is like, and I know our boy Man Rocket is in this group, but JT is still far and away the best golfer in this group, in my opinion. So, I don't know. Like, Keegan sucks at match play from what I briefly saw. I know he hasn't done it a ton, but I think he was like 0-3. So, awesome sample size. But I don't know.
Yeah,
his mentality, like he can't close regular tournaments. Like, do I think he's going to be able to close out JT? I don't know. Like, I can't see it. I mean, I think I'd rather play Man.
Keegan's way worse than 0-3. He's 1-10-2.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
It's Biergaard's 1-3, and then Wallace is, let's see. Wallace.
I'd much rather play Wallace at 7,100.
Wallace is 0-1.
He's 1.2 strokes gain differential over his last 16 rounds, which doubles up Keegan, and unfortunately, Man Rocket's losing. Hasn't beat the field on average over his last 12. So
the thing about Man Rocket, I mean, and just kind of the way I think match play kind of translates is it's always better to have that extreme high birdie or better rate.
Well, yeah, I mean,
that's how you have to win holes.
Golf is already high variance, and now you're going to throw in match play where you only need to be better than the guy for 10 holes, like if you alternated. So
for me, yeah, I mean, I have much more conviction playing DJ and Rory at that price that we're seeing JT at, to even with 150 lineups of someone who's going to make stances. So yeah, you're not going to find me there. And if I'm going to get off of JT, I want to take shots with Wallace and Man Rocket.
Oh, definitely. If you're going to fade JT, I mean, you might as well try one of the other guys. But this might be a group too, where again, if you're making 20 lineups and you can look who they're going to play in the next round, you could ignore this group and just hope they lose to whoever they play in the round of 16.
Yeah, no, that's not.
I mean, they might end up against Day, so I don't know.
Yeah. If you're strong on Day, if you're going to make a strong stance on Day, fading that entire group's not a bad idea in my opinion.
Like if you're only
either.
playing the 20 max or something, obviously you're not going to be able to play a guy from every group. And I don't suggest
For sure.
that. So you're going to have to pick some groups that you ignore, and maybe this one is an unknown. You just say, forget it. I'll take my chances with people who I think are safer.
Yeah, no, not a bad strategy. Let's proceed to the finishing the bottom left with these next two. I'm sure time-wise we keep talking. So we're getting into Tiger Woods at 9,200, Cantley, Sneds, and Wise.
And this is Group 13 if you're following along.
Tiger got a heck of a draw.
Yeah, he did. Not that Cantley's a pushover. I mean, he's 1.2 strokes gain differential, which is pretty solid. He's 85th percentile in approach, and Tiger's 84th in approach. I guess the question will be, do we get match play Tiger? Like, is that part of his game back? Like, obviously, he's been playing outstanding. He's rated very high in my overall power ratings in general. I think he's just been playing some really great golf without the wins. And at 9,200, I mean, he's going to be so fucking popular. But
yeah, that's the problem because everyone knows. I mean,
but I'm not going to take Aaron Wise. I don't care that he's min price at 6,000. He is positive strokes gain, which is decent to see. Again, another group with all four. But I mean, I just think Cantley. I think Cantley's habitually underpriced too. So I know he's been missing cuts semi-regularly for him.
Yeah, he's got 2 missed cuts in the last 4 events. I mean, coupled, if you look at the last 5, he did get a 6th, 15th, and 9th. Sprinkled around those missed cuts.
He's a very consistent golfer.
This is the thing. I don't have a strong feeling on any of them. I know everybody in the industry was all aboard the Sneds train last week, and that didn't end. I guess besides you,
I sucked last week, great. If you're wondering, but it was not because of Snedeker.
He finished 30th, made the cut, and proved at the Players that he's got something in him. I think after he changed swing coaches recently, but gosh, I could see myself. Honestly, even in 150, not playing anybody. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, I really like Tiger. But if we look at, kind of the bottom half, he's going to probably run into Rory. If you're looking there in the second round, I mean, that would be an epic battle, him versus Rory. But I find myself, unless I want to play, 35% Tiger, I don't know. I don't love anything out of there. So that might be something where I either come in less of the field than Tiger and just, take it as is, or just fade that group entirely.
I will play Tiger, and I probably will play some Cantlay, because if Tiger is going to be that owned, I think Cantlay can get out of this group. I mean, even if he just halves Tiger, maybe Tiger has a bad day, stumbles against Snedeker. I don't foresee it, but again, weird things happen in match play. All it takes is one day, so
For sure.
this is definitely a group I could see you being scared of because of the Tiger ownership. Because at 9,200, people are going to play him.
Oh, yeah, and it's...
I mean, I'm saying I'm going to play. I'm not going to fully fade him, but again, with them playing Rory's group, again, if you're making 20 lineups, unless you have a really strong feel that Rory won't get out of his group, which is entirely possible, again, just so much up in the air, but I do like Tiger a bunch. I really do.
Yeah, it's hard because everybody's going to play him at that price. Everybody's going to. But...
For good reason.
For sure. It's just tough when, like you talked about, match play with so much,
I mean, this is the first time we'll see him in a match play since he's come back from the Fusion, right? Because, yeah, he didn't play this last year.
Yeah, I mean, if
he
you
didn't do the Ryder Cup, that's right. I don't know how he did, to be honest. I don't think it was good.
It wasn't. And then, you look, he played 2013, 2012, 2011, 2009. Obviously, we know how good Tiger is in match play. Like, the moments that he's 50, 17, and 2 in his life. But he only made it out of... Pretty good. He made it out of group play 2 of those previous 4. I mean, it doesn't really matter, honestly. We know what Tiger does in match play.
I'm going to play him. I'm going to leave it at that.
If you want to settle up, play him. If not, I don't like playing anyone in the group personally. So, moving on to the bottom left, we're going to run into the hottest golfer in the world, Rory McIlroy, with Fitz, Luke List, and Justin Harding. Interesting one because, Rory came in last year off a win. Now, don't get me wrong, it was not similar. I mean, the form right now he's in is probably the best it's been in, since he won. I
mean, it's unreal. You almost think, when is this regret? The level he's playing at is, I don't know. I don't know historical numbers over X amount of rounds, but holy shit. He's gaining 3 strokes on the field per round over his last 20 rounds.
For sure.
3 strokes.
Unbelievable. But I felt very similar about him last year coming in. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't like he didn't have, 3, 4, 5, at least 6 top 5s or top 6s in a row. Legit unbelievable form. He came off a win, though, last year. Definitely did. And walked in and did not advance outside of group play.
It happens.
It does. It happens here.
DJ won this event and then didn't get out of group play. And I think Rory got 3rd the first year they played it here.
Yeah, 4th. He got 4th.
Or 4th. He lost to Rafa.
But it's tough because Fitzy, showed a little life. What was that? 3 weeks ago when Fitzy was there. But for me, I kind of like Justin Harding. I mean, I've kind of been riding Harding a little bit over in Europe the last few weeks. Obviously, cash just 50-1. In Qatar off that great Sunday performance, 6,200 at minuscule ownership. I mean, he has been extremely good over there.
I'm gonna play Harding, but I'm going back to. I'm not afraid of it. If this is the one that gets me, so be it. But I'm not gonna jump off this heat. I've been riding this heater. I'm going to continue to do so. I haven't been on the Coke Rack one, and it's cost me. So I'm not gonna get off the Rory one right now. I will find a way to make lineups with Rory McIlroy. But I will play Harding.
Did you compare Rory to Coke Rack? Come on, dude.
No, I compared me ignoring guys when they're playing well.
Fair. But no, I mean, Harding's form, he's been ball striking incredibly over there, averaging almost a stroke and a half per round over the last 5 events. I think 4 or 5 events over in Europe. He's been incredible. Came back and played strong at the Magic Kenya Open, one of our favorite events, obviously now. But and he came over here. I think he's sitting at 48th in the world. So he shouldn't fall back outside of the top 50 with Masters, but a strong performance here solidifies that for him, gets him into his first Masters. So I like it. I think he's an interesting one that no one's going to play at all. List hasn't been, anything special lately after he kind of made that early run at the Players. I guess he finished 10th there, but or did he finish 10th? No, he finished 10th the week before the Players. But yeah, if you're going to play Rory, saddle up.
70th in percentile in approach, 76th off the tee. I'd be shocked if Rory doesn't come out of this group. This is one of those where, mainly due to his play, anybody can beat anybody, but I think it'd be devastating. It'd be a shock to me if he did not win this group.
I remember Uline beating him last year, and I was absolutely stunned because I was so heavy on Rory.
It happens,
but it does. That's why. It's golf, but playing your flag on Rory Island's not a bad thing to do. All right, let's pop to the top right. Let's get to Rose's group here. We got Rose, Woodland, Eddie Pep, and Griot.
Yeah, this one. I don't know. This one's kind of tough because, I don't know if it's the fanboy in me who just loves to play Eddie. And we saw him at the Players, what he did in the final round, but I'm trying not to get too worked up over one round because over his last 12 rounds on the PGA side of things, it really hasn't been that pretty. And Gary and Rose have been playing pretty well this year, so I'm probably not going to have anything to do with Griot. If I'm going to play 6,900 guy, I'd play Eddie instead of Griot, but this might be a group that I don't do too much with, or it's going to be Gary, just because that's such a discount on his price for how well he's playing.
But is he playing that well?
Over his last 22 rounds,
sure.
I don't know his exact last 2 tournaments off the top of my head.
He missed the cut last week. He broke that long streak that he had been running.
Yeah, and Casey missed the cut and then won. So lots of people missed that train too because he shot +9 at the Players. And oh wow, yeah.
For sure. I'm just saying. I don't think Woodland's form's as strong as it was when it, a month and a half ago when he had ran a 2nd, 9, and a 7 in 1 month.
It's not, but at 7,800, I'm not going to let the one cut deter me. I'll put it that way.
No. And
now we're out of Florida where he historically hasn't done that well anyway.
For sure. I just think of a windy track in a sense of if it really picks up. I think Pepperell can play here, and Rose.
Eddie can play anywhere. He's shown it. It's inconsistent.
And Rose has been inconsistent as of late too. He'll throw an 8 up, and then he's a 63rd, and he missed the cut, and then he won. Rose sitting at 20-1. You would have thought someone who is dang near number 1 in the world on Fringe right now that would have saw a 20-1 lower, but he's only played here once in the last 3 years. Didn't get out of group play either. Never advanced in the last 10 years past the first round of bracket play. So I think this is a place where you can, throw in some Eddie, or if on your stance, throw in some Woodland and make some run at that mid-salary there. And I like getting off Rose and not playing him personally.
And this isn't a group that I want to ignore because I don't think the round of 16 is going to be a doozy. Yes, they could face
the region's a doozy.
They could face Bubba, who won last year, but we'll get to that group next. But I can't ignore this group, so maybe this is one where I just sprinkle Eddie, Gary, and maybe a little bit of Rose. I'm just going to be under the field on it.
Yeah, no Rose for me. If it's definitely decent Eddie, and I'll have to see where I come back around if I need someone in that mid range on Woodland. But no Griot, no Rose here. But speaking of Bubba's group, let's get right there. Bubba, Spieth, Billy Ho, and Kevin Na.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to play Bubba. After his last year here, I guess, it's 1 year, but he's also been playing pretty solid this year, and the best of this particular group. Billy Horschel at 7,300. I think I could get behind that. the question is, do you want to have any balls and play Spieth? But at 8,700, like now like 8,000, 8,200 Spieth, like he's been so bad. It's so amazing. Bad. It's amazing.
I was very impressed with Bubba last week. I mean, if he didn't get that ball stuck in the tree.
Yeah, and that's not really a course that, I mean, he's played well at that course before, but realistically it doesn't seem to fit his game at all.
No, and, I believe he was, if you're looking here, I'm trying to pull up.
And I was just kidding. I'm going to have 0 balls and 0 Spieth. I mean, it's just bad. Feel free to look it up. It's just bad.
Bubba was 1, 2, 3, 4. He was 5th in tee to green last week. Second of those that are in the field this week. If you look at Valspar. So, I mean, again, he's going to be very owned, but I like trying to still get even overweight on Bubba. I love that group that he has. I'm interested in the 28-1 that was floating out there earlier today. I don't like anyone else in the region there. So if I see myself going heavy, and I don't even love anyone if we're looking above, in that Rose bracket, I think Bubba can really make a strong stance out of anyone that I feel this strongly about into that Elite Eight matchup. And then I don't even feel that strong as we're going to keep going down on the next ones. Like, I'm talking about a very legit Final Four candidate listed, at 28-1. It's Bubba who's been my favorite so far. So I'm going to make an overweight stance on Bubba and not play anyone else in that group.
Yeah, I'm definitely leaning that way. Like I said, I don't mind Horschel, but I don't have a great feel for it. And with how weak this little quadrant, I say weak relatively, but compared to the other ones, obviously he won't have to play Rory, he won't have to play Tiger, he won't have to play JT. There's no Dustin, there's no Rahm over here. Like, Bubba's gonna have to fend off. Rose is the top ranked guy over here. He's gonna have to fend off potentially a Paul Casey, or a Molinari. Like, I don't think those are people to be afraid of. So I'm with you. I'm with you on the Bubba train, which is scary. I don't get on the Bubba train very often.
I mean, I'm just looking at Spieth's numbers. He's been so bad.
Awful.
So bad. Like, anyone that wants to jump back on that,
kudos to you. Yeah, speaking of shocking things, here. Like, I'd be shocked if Rory lost his group. I'd be shocked if Spieth came out of this group. And you can say what you want about me being shocked about Spieth coming out. He's been so bad. Like, we know the talent is in there somewhere, but it hasn't been seen in a long time. So if this is when he picks to do it, okay, I'll miss it, and I'll watch him lose to whoever in the next fucking round.
And Kevin Na, I mean, he just withdrew last week before, so I mean, he's not someone, I mean, he's also missed his 2 cuts previous to that I have any worries about, in a sense, if he even plays in this field. So yeah, I'm getting a hard overweight on Bubba there.
Yep.
Okay, so let's roll into your boy Paul Casey's group. So we got Paul Casey, and we got Cam, Chucky 3 Sticks, and then Abraham Answer there. Man, this is an interesting one because I'm a Cam truther, and I'm not always a big Casey backer. Obviously, I think he's one of the most consistent golfers out there. Comes off a relatively decent Sunday where most people melted around that leaderboard. He came in strong. Getting that par on the last was extremely impressive from that tee shot. It was good for him. I really do think, it was good for him. He's just a consistent golfer, and we're not really looking at a terribly strong group, in my opinion.
Nope.
So, and he's again, as you always point out, habitually underpriced.
Yep, I'm going to make this group very short and sweet for me. I'm looking at Casey the most, maybe CH3, maybe a little Cam Smith, and that, like, this could be a group where I just don't do too much with, except for maybe Casey. Like, I'll ride the hot sticks.
And
that's all I have to say about 10.
I think Chucky 3 Sticks was in terrible form at this time last year and came out of that group out of nowhere. But no, I mean, it just feels like a Casey. I don't know, because Cam advanced out of his group as well. Answer, what, he made a run at the Players. He's cheap. He's quite cheap. But no, I don't have any real conviction on anything in that group. And even conviction-wise of Casey coming out, it does seem quite obvious for that price. Again, I'm sure he's probably going to garner some ownership after coming off the win. But that just feels like the most logical play to, be strong on Casey in that group.
Yep, I'm not going to get cute. It's going to be Paul Casey. If he loses, he loses.
Okay, so now I think we walk into the worst group on the field there. We have Molinari, Webb Simpson, Thunderbear, Thornbjorn Olsen, and Satoshi Kodaira.
Yeah. Yep. Again, just because of how relatively easy this quadrant is, this will be another one that's pretty easy for me. I know what Satoshi did at a die track. I just don't care. I will sprinkle mainly Molinari, a little bit of Webb, but I still like Casey over either of them. So I don't think it'll be that heavy at all, and that's where I sit on that group. There's just not much for me there.
I wonder who will be more popular, Casey or Molinari? Both coming off of those recent wins.
I'd rather the Casey group pretty strong on Casey. I don't mind Webb, but I don't know. Again, these ones are fairly cut and dry for me if I'm gonna play somebody. Like I said, I'm gonna be mainly overweight on Bubba in this whole region anyway, so there's not gonna be a ton of Casey or Molinari from me.
This is not a good region,
Nope.
Compared to the others. I mean, when you're looking at Shaky Rose.
Maybe this is where
guy.
the money's made because it's some crazy guy out of here, but I don't know.
And that's where I'm trying to see who that crazy guy would be. Thunderbear has not been good. I was so pissed during those drawings that Wallace and Man Rocket and Harding all got thrown in those difficult groups. If you could have put me with one of those in the top right, I would have absolutely loved it. I'm gonna probably take a longer look in regards to some of those Cam or Webb type to see if there's someone I can make a stance on. And I mean, even Thunderbear, dude. I mean, he has been. I think he finally made a cut last week or 2 weeks ago at the Players, but I mean, he's been horrible recently too. So, yeah, I think it's once again cut and dry there. So we can walk into that top or that bottom right here if we go through. So we got Fleetwood in group. So this is group 11. We have Fleetwood, Louis, Ben Ann, and then Stanley. I cannot believe Stanley's in this field.
Well, you get lucky when Ricky and Adam Scott decide not to play it. So, obviously, Fleetwood is the best golfer in this group, and I think it's not walking out on a limb to say that. And it's 9,600. I think that's slightly underpriced. So I will obviously be playing Tommy. The interesting one here is Ben Ann at 6,300. Because I'm not a big Louis guy to begin with, although the price is enticing because he flashed some form last week. And I know he's had some past success in the match play style. But honestly, I think you could really gain leverage if Byung-Hyun An wins this group.
No, I'm in, dude. I'm glad you're on the same spot. His ball striking has been incredible lately. I mean, that's the type of player Ben Ann is, and he does well at these peak dry tracks.
He's just playing well overall. The overall game, even around the green, he's been lights out.
Yeah, I mean, he's got top 10 at Heritage.
It's the putting. I mean, he's awful. He is an awful putter.
And he was first round leader. Well, I think he was first round leader at the Players, right? Or at least tied for first, I believe. But no, I really, really like him in his birdie or better rate. We know he can put up 8 birdies in a round easily. He's done that many of times. So I think people are going to flock to Fleetwood after knowing, his Ryder Cup performance.
Oh, I'm going to too. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I mean, this group's kind of cut and dry for me. I could be wrong on Louis, but it's pretty cut and dry. That
people are going to love Louis too.
It's going to be Ben Ann and Fleetwood for me from this group.
Yeah, I saw people, being pumped about Louis, his performance last week, which you don't often get. Great Louis. So him not pulling through for that victory for the Louis backers, was difficult. But I really like Ben Ann here, and he is cheap, 6,300 for someone who legitimately can come out of that group. I like it a lot. And
they don't have that. We'll get into the next group here right now, and it's not going to be. I'm not overly afraid of anybody in this group either. Bryson, Leishman, Affy Barnrat, and Russell Knox. Nobody there really makes me shake him. I'm not afraid to take Ben Ann because I think the round of 16 is very winnable for him too.
No, I think I mean, I'm interested to peek at Ben Ann's outright number after this too. I think he was at 90 at Bovada earlier today, but that's a good draw.
Yeah, and then so in this next group too, like I think my favorite guy might be the cheapest guy too, Russell Knox, 6,600.
Dude, I mean, if we're talking about his approach again, I mean, if we're looking at 3 weeks in a row, I mean, I think we backed him all three, or at least two of the last three, when he's had some incredible. I mean, that Albatross. I thought we were running pure on that Thursday when he was like 6 under. I think he put up 29 in the back nine. But yeah, Bryson has been shaky as all get out. I think he finally flashed a little bit at the Players.
I mean, hardly.
But yeah, I finished 20th still, so nothing great. I'm not someone who plays smart at all. Affy Barnrat is interesting. I could see myself going with those bottom two. I mean, Affy came out of.
Why do you like Affy? Just because he won last year out of his group? Like,
I mean, I think he's a really good match play player. He's talked about how he loves this format. Won the Super 6 2 years ago as well.
I mean, he was awful at the Players. I mean, just dreadful.
For sure. And I mean, I don't think he came in with anything last year either. I just think he
probably
really
not.
Likes
He's very
match play.
Inconsistent.
He came in last year. Oh, I think he had won like a horrible Thailand like minor league event 2 weeks prior to coming in. So I mean, sure.
I'll put it this way: this is a group where I think you can save salary because you can, if you want to play Kirdesh at 6,700 or you want to play Knox at 6,600. I think this is where you can save salary.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's where I stand. I like playing Ben Ann, Affy, and Knox as salary savers.
And it's not super scary in the round of 16.
Nope, I agree completely. Okay, so let's go to 14 then. One of the, I think, better overall playing groups is Finau, Poulter, Kisner, and Killer Keith.
Yeah, I'm going to pull my hair out setting my ownership out of here. Poulter, I was tempted to bet at 45-1 before the draws even came out, which I didn't do because I really wanted to see the draw. I don't know if it mattered a ton, but I mean, Poulter also dodged Tiger, Rory, JT, Day, DJ side. Like he wouldn't see them until the final. So I still might go back and pull the trigger. I don't know if 45 is even. It's probably not there anymore. But
no, he was 33 on Bovada as of this afternoon.
Good Lord. Yeah, so I screwed up there, but I don't know if I want to do 33. But I definitely love Poulter here at 7,700. Kisner's probably my second favorite at 7K, and then this will be a group where I sprinkle three guys. I'm going to ignore Keith. I know you like him a bit this week. I'm gonna be off the Keith Mitchell train here and probably ride with the other three. And if Mitchell wins, I just hope he loses to Brooks in the next round.
It's interesting because I don't know if I had this stance coming in as much as I do now. I do like Keith. I think he's another salary saver if you look at kind of this wild region in the bottom right here. But Poulter is by far the lowest outright odds of that second tier player in the group. So to your point of him opening 45, yeah, it's no longer there, at least on Bovada last I checked. So 33 compared to no one else being below 45. But to me, that might actually bring Tony's ownership down a little bit because people love to play Poulter in match play formats.
I mean, it will because Tony's 9K too.
Yeah, and
he really hasn't done much.
No, but doesn't he seem like someone who'd be great at match play? I mean, him and Brooks played well together at the Ryder Cup.
He did.
I mean, Tony did make it out of match play last year.
Like I said, I'm going to sprinkle him. I'm going to own three guys out of this group. I'm playing enough lineups where this is one of like two groups where I'll sprinkle three guys. It'll be how much is the question.
This is just an interesting pod, yeah, because I came in thinking I really liked Keith as he's played consistently well after that big victory. And it's all been on less than driver tracks, which I don't know how much, you're going to have to pull it here compared to those. But, I mean, he did hit a little bit of a wall at the Players.
Which is tough, again. That's chaotic course.
Yeah. Actually, now that I think about it.
It wasn't brutal at the Players. It just wasn't good.
No, and I think he made a little bit of runs here and there, but I'm looking at just kind of those mid-nines, and I mean, people are going to go to Fleetwood, people are going to go to Molinari. I mean, we're strong on Bubba, we liked Xander, but man, I think Tony may go overlooked, and he seems like someone who'd be a very good match play just from a style sense. And I don't think he has, if I look at his match play record, Tony 3-1. So, I mean, extremely small sample size, but I actually really like taking a stance with Tony there.
Yep, the tough decision for me here isn't which three I want to play. I know it's Finau, Poulter, Kisner. It's going to be how much of each of them that I play.
For sure. Okay, move on to the final little group here. We have Brooks, Noren, Haotong, and Tom Lewis. What a pull for Brooks.
Yeah, I can completely write off Tom Lewis. I don't care what he's done overseas. I mean, and I follow Europe. I don't really care for Haotong much here either. It's going to be mainly Brooks for me. And with Noren, gosh, he's been bad. But, I don't know. I've always liked Noren. I've always liked him. And I don't know if that's what's drawing me to him. But at 7K with the match play history he's had here,
overall, he's 17-7 match play career record.
He's just so bad right now. I mean, he's negative 1.4 strokes to the field over the last 14 rounds. Like, that's bad. It's horrific. It's hideous. Yeah, I mean, and it's ugly all around performances. I mean, I think he's gained strokes tee to green in one out of the last, if I look at my books here, one of the last 10 events. I mean, he's not even gaining strokes putting, which is normally what we look for. And the only place he's gaining is around the green, which is very noisy too. But, I mean, his putting is everything's bad. So at 7K, I know I'm going to play him. I know I'm going to do it. So it won't be a lot, though. Like last year, I rode him hard, and he won me a lot of money with matchups, winning his quadrant, yada yada, but he was not playing this bad at all. In fact, I think he was playing pretty well.
He came in last year off a 2nd, 21st, 16th, 3rd, 14th, 36th.
Yeah, because it was like his first foray into the PGA Tour, if I remember.
Yeah.
Or my year ahead. Either way.
And in 2017, I believe, I don't know his lead-in form there, but he finished 8th there too. So that's the thing, I think. But
Brooks will be very popular, but it's so winnable.
You think he will be?
Why not? I mean, everyone's going to look at this group and think the same thing I just did. Haotong,
but
Booty,
I
Tom
know,
Lewis,
man.
no idea who he is. Alex Noren, not been good.
I don't know. I just feel like people are still going to play the more expensive guys. They're going to play Rory. They're going to play JT. They're going to play.
I mean, Brooks
DJ.
Brooks will go overlooked as far as the expensive guys go, but I don't know if he'll be that low.
I don't think he can just jam in. I don't know. I mean, I'm as much.
I mean, I don't really care though. Either way, I'm going to play him, so I don't really care what he's on.
For sure, it doesn't affect me, and I'm as much of a Brooks truther as it comes out there. And the rumors out there about him cutting weight and kind of losing his form. Obviously can't wait to see those pictures in the body issue coming up.
Better cut weight for a reason. I mean,
yeah, I can't wait. But it's just going to be interesting to see kind of how it falls. But yeah, they're
going to have whoever wins this anyway. It's going to be a tough matchup next round. Like whether it's Finau, Poulter, or Kisner, or even if Mitchell got out of it, like if he gets out of it, that form is still there. So
for sure,
it's not like it's a cakewalk, but I don't. Yeah, Brooks. It'll be heavy Brooks, I think, for me out of that, with my fear of missing out on Noren, which will. I'm gonna hate myself when he sucks, but
it's interesting, man. Look at that left side of the bracket was so strong. With that right side, it's not good.
It's not like I don't know.
And that's where your money's going to be made, correctly predicting that right side of the bracket.
Yeah, because the left side has so many missiles that could blow up everybody else's ownership. Like it could just be a train wreck. But the right side will be a train wreck. Just I don't know. It's always hard to predict, especially golf and match play. We just went through the whole thing. I mean, there aren't too many where we were like sure things, but there are no sure things. So I don't know. It'll be a fun week. I love it. Like as soon as I start building, I think I'll get more of a clear idea what I'm going to do and where I'm going to head. Like, just looking at the bracket now, it just seems so muddled and my head's everywhere. But...
And we got 24 hours. I mean, I guess now it's, closing past midnight on the East Coast on Monday night, and, this locks at 9:20 Monday morning.
It's going to be interesting.
Wednesday morning, I mean. So it's a grind to get through. But how do you want to finish this? You wanna each give our final four and championship predictions?
Yeah, I'm going to do it on the fly because I legit just really haven't dug in too deep yet. I've kind of just been setting everything up for the build.
All right, let's hear it.
I don't know. You go first. I really have to look at this. It's tough.
Okay.
It's tough for me to give
first.
a final four.
I think it's going to be DJ out of the top left. I'm going to go my Dar out of the bottom left, Furyk. I'm going to say Bubba in the top right. And then I like Tony out of the bottom right. So I'm going to go Bubba over Furyk in the championship for me.
Wow, Furyk. Wow, that'd be something, huh?
Yeah, that's my call.
All right, I'll start in the upper left. I'll eat the chalk on DJ too. I just think he's playing so well. I don't know. I don't see anybody too difficult getting in his way until the final four. The lower left is where I struggle because Rory's down there, and it pains me to pick against him, but he could run into Tiger. I think I'm going to go Day. I'm going to go Day out of the lower left.
Okay.
So I'll go DJ versus Day, and I'll give it to DJ. And then I'll go upper right. I'm going to go Paul Casey. I'm going to continue to ride.
Shocker.
I'm going to ride the hot train there. That quad's so weak to me that I'll just go with the form. I'll take the form. Lower right. I'll give it to Ian. I'll ride the match play wonder guy. I'll go with Poulter. Then I'll go Poulter over Casey. And wow, just to be different, I'll go Poulter. I think he can get it done. His form had been really great early in the year, and we're getting to I don't know. He loves this style of tournament. He's very vocal about it. So, wow.
So
something I didn't see happening. Me thinking Ian Poulter was going to win this all.
As you were going through your picks here, I just threw up Sportsbook's odds just to see. Poulter is still 40-1 there. I see a 30 on Bubba. So I'm going to hop on that 30 right now. I see 100 at Furyk. So if this is my prediction, I'm obviously going to be betting both of these. You're going to see our combined card. If you make a free profile on Fantasy Golf Bag, that card is always going to be free. Myself and Axis and Tyler put that together every single week for us. But those are going to be my two bets that I'm making right now. Are you hopping on Poulter?
I will bet Poulter if I can still get him at 40 here quickly. And then I'm not going to decide yet because, like I said, I really ran through that. That's a very tentative final four.
Yeah, hey, you're going to want to bet that Poulter now because he's 28-1 on my bookie.
But I definitely feel strongly about Poulter. He's probably the most... Poulter and DJ are probably my two strongest convictions, but that's scary.
Yeah, I would immediately bet that on Sportsbook. And it looks like the Bubba 30 is hanging around on a couple other sites. So I'm going to get on that Furyk 100, Bubba 30. You get on that Poulter 40.
Absolutely.
And then, yeah, I think we kind of ride out. And realistically, we'll probably add maybe 1 to 2 more bets at max and kind of space that out so we can try to hit a final four. And of course, all celebrate together.
It's all interesting, too, because once the final 16 are seeded, you might actually get some decent numbers on some lower guys, and you'll see some form.
For sure.
So don't spend it all at once. There's lots of head-to-head matches to be bet on, which, again...
Yeah, this is a phenomenal week.
Yeah, it's tons of fun. So, again, one more time, if you want more talk on the actual strategy of building the lineups... There's a premium article on Fantasy Golf Bag. Go sign up now. Use the promo code Jesus20 or Gurus20. You get 20% off for life as long as you don't let the subscription run out. 20% for the rest of your life. Go check out the premium article. There's showdown models on there for the normal weeks of golf. Although, did they run showdown last year for this?
Oh, I thought we still had 2 more hours of podcasting. We had Punta Cana to talk and then Hero Indian Open, right?
Yeah, be a premium subscriber, and we'll talk to you all about the Hero Indian and the Punta Cana inside honestly, the Slack chat. But
this is one of the greatest weeks in golf, no joke. I mean, I'm truly jacked for this.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and Yeah, I'm ready. I'm honestly ready to just start building, and it's going to be a marathon.
But feel free, for premium members, or if you want to come on board as a premium member, we're always going to be in that Slack chat answering any questions that we can leading up to preparing your lineups in the best way. It's important to take advantage of literally the largest edge in golf all year long. So any questions you want, myself, Axis, Drew, Jacob, we're all in there most hours of the day. So definitely get a hold of us.
Absolutely, and good luck everybody this weekend. Hopefully you see some green screens.
Yep, let's take it down.